This name is our main character, who spent 10 years fishing, leading everyone to believe that he was just a useless person. Little did they know, during those 10 years, he had broken through to refine Qi at the 10,000th level and came down the mountain to take the Empress as his disciple. He took her final move without a scratch and made her drink leftover soup. She then broke through several great realms, receiving a divine-level skill for her to cultivate, jumping up several realms in one day. She thought she was a super genius, but he was stunned because her talent was too low. The Demon King came to challenge him, and with just one move, he ended up on the leaderboard. And okay, no more beating around the bush, let's get started. The story begins in a paradise known as the Xinghe sect, one of the largest sects cultivating immortals in the mortal realm of Lianyun continent. Here, a grand ceremony to accept new disciples is held once every 10 years. Under the small arenas, duels are taking place among the contestants. Thousands of people need to go through the competition stage to determine their rank. Winning 5 consecutive matches will grant them the status of an outside sect disciple, and winning another 5 matches will qualify them as an inside sect disciple. At this moment, there was a tall and muscular young man, his six-pack physique battered. He was struck a heavy blow, falling flat to the ground. The match had come to an end. The 7th arena had determining a winner, and the one who defeated the large man in the blink of an eye was a beautiful woman, Lin Tian Tian, the Empress Reborn. This useless person can participate in the grand ceremony of collecting disciples. The Xinghe sect is truly questionable. I never expected that I, as the Empress, would have to start my cultivation journey from such a small sect this time. In front of these lackluster people, not only did they fail to pose any challenge for her, but they also annoyed her. Well, anyway, my goal is just to qualify for cultivating immortals. After I cultivate at Xinghe sect for 10 years, I will seek revenge on that traitor. The one praising Tian Tian for her strength was the Grand Elder of Xinghe sect. At such a young age, being able to cultivate to the 6th level of Qi refinement, truly a talent for cultivating immortals. Her outstanding performance had also caught the eye of a young man standing next to him, Chen Chongqing, the Grand Master of Heavenly Sword Peak. The Grand Elder has a sharp eye. I want to take her back to Heavenly Sword Peak. However, having such a good person taken by him made the Elder somewhat uncomfortable. Chongqing disciple, don't forget. The Xinghe sect allows for freedom of choosing a master. If you want her to join your Heavenly Sword Peak, it also depends on whether she wants to or not. Chongqing then affirmed, Grand Elder, rest assured, Chongqing will never violate sect rules. I believe she will make the most correct choice. However, the Grand Elder glanced at the empty chair next to him, seeming to notice that an important figure was absent from today's competition. It was unacceptable to leave the chair empty, so he shouted out with frustration, "Where is Yi Kong? Didn't I tell you to call him?" The frightened disciple explained, "I reminded Yi Kong uncle. Uncle said he had important matters and would arrive later." This lack of reliability greatly irritated the Grand Elder. What important matters could this little guy possibly have? He must have run off to fish. How could the previous master of such heroism produce such a son? And indeed, he was not wrong. At the Xinghe sect, on Shaoyao Peak, where fragrant flowers bloomed everywhere and the lake was crystal clear, he was leisurely sitting and fishing. The person fishing with a particularly domineering bamboo rod also casually introduced himself. "My name is Yi Kong, and I have crossed over to the world of cultivating immortals. I am currently the master of Shaoyao Peak of the Xinghe sect. Although I am called a master peak, in reality, I am just a solitary person. Besides me, there is no one else on Shaoyao Peak." People think this because the image of me etched in their minds is that of a privileged child who is treated specially. In the eyes of others, I am just a mediocre person at the refined Qi stage, able to be a master thanks to my father, the former master of the Xinghe sect. But the reality, what the reality is remains unknown, until an announcement suddenly appeared. It stated that the host has been fishing for 9 years and 265 days. The current cultivation of the host is at refined Qi stage 3550. While others must toil hard, I, Yi Kong, can easily surpass them with a relaxed attitude. I had awakened the system long ago. As long as I consistently fish every day, I can increase my cultivation. Yes, I only need to fish here for 1 day to gain a cultivation level. However, I feel like I must have gotten a made-in-China product. For an ordinary person to reach the 9th level of refined qi is already the limit, while I have reached 3,000 levels but still cannot establish a foundation. This system must be bugged. However, after a while of being engrossed in fishing and ignoring the world, Yi Kong suddenly remembered something. Isn't there something going on today? At this moment, he was alarmed to recall the earth-shattering event he had forgotten. That's right. It's the recruitment ceremony of the Shinghe sect. After some consideration, Yi Kong decided to pick up his things and leave. Although no disciples will pay me homage as their master, as the master peak of Xiaoyao Peak, I should still make an appearance. At this time, at the finals of the recruitment ceremony of the Shinghe sect, after several intense qualifying rounds, only the 2 most promising contestants remained. Her final opponent was a young man with an exceptionally scholarly appearance, which made many girls infatuated. Miss Lin, I have watched all your matches. Your martial skills are extraordinary, and I am very impressed. Upon hearing his admiration for Tian, she whimsically thought, are you planning to admit defeat? Although no one asked, he introduced himself anyway. No, perhaps the young lady doesn't know, but I am the young master of Lu Xianghao. This is actually a sect affiliated with the Shinghe sect. My family's 7th uncle is an elder of the Shinghe sect. Faced with his chatter, Tian had no choice but to ask again. What do you really want to say? It turned out that all the roundabout and colorful words had been a way for him to mock Tian. What I mean is, my starting point is different from yours. Currently, my cultivation has reached the 7th level of qi refinement. However, even if you lose to me, it's still a loss, and yet, in response to his idle provocation, Tian truly felt ready to explode. I've tolerated you long enough, now you're asking for it. In the next moment, her eyes sparkled with determination, and she swung a single slap forward that left him with a distorted face. How embarrassing, seriously, just a moment ago, he had looked down on her, and now he felt as humiliated as a fish out of water. Of course, a realm cannot have 2 rulers. She had achieved victory in an extremely convincing manner. The champion of this year's Shinghe sect recruitment competition is Lin Tian. In front of her stunning display of skills, the others watching were left speechless, constantly shouting, no way. This is the finals, right? Just one move decided the outcome. Lin Tian not only has talent but is also this beautiful. Heaven is truly partial. What a prodigy. In response to the loudmouths among these spectators, the Grand Elder shouted loudly to silence them, quiet. Great Tao has 3 heavens. You are the chosen ones and need to select the skill that suits you right from the beginning of your cultivation. He stood firmly on the podium, raised his hand to the sky, and declared, the 5 peaks of the Shinghe sect represent different paths of cultivation. Once chosen, it cannot be changed, and he couldn't miss the fun today, so he slowly made his appearance. The Grand Elder also paused and turned around. Changqing gently lifted his shining sword. Amidst the soft petals falling on the sword, today Changqing also wanted to showcase his swordsmanship. Heavenly Sword Peak. Indeed, the charm of reincarnation was irresistible. As soon as they saw him appear, several young women couldn't help but want to take him as their husband. This person is truly impressive. Who is he? He is Changqing, known as the Little Sword God. He is the strongest of the younger generation of the Shinghe sect. Oh my, I want to enter Heavenly Sword Peak to learn Sword Dao with senior brother Changqing. After a long day of hard work, the Grand Elder now read the summary. Heavenly Sword Peak has accepted 1,200 disciples. Yusho Peak has accepted 520 disciples. Lingyao Peak has accepted 370 disciples. Manhwa Peak has accepted 250 disciples. However, by the end of the report, his expression suddenly darkened, his voice hesitant. Xiaoyao Peak accepts a disciple. Does Xiaoyao Peak really accept someone? The sect is crowded, yet there's a candidate who chose Xiaoyao Peak as their master. This left everyone present in astonishment. Chang Qing, seeing Yi Kong's figure standing at a distance, couldn't help but scoff. Is there really someone who chooses Xiaoyao Peak? I'm truly curious about who is blind enough to accept a useless person as their master. However, it was unexpectedly the case. The one who chose him as a master was none other than the MVP who had just cleared the map, Lin Tian. Why her? In light of Xing He-sek's arrogance, Tian felt a strong disdain. Xing He-sek, a little sect like this, no one is worthy to be the master of the Empress Lin Tian. This Xiaoyao Peak that no one chooses is indeed suitable for my cultivation. However, in order to gain the beauty and to undermine Yi Kong's reputation, Chang Qing mocked him. Miss Lin, this master of Xiaoyao Peak is merely at the qi refinement stage. He can't guide you at all. You should instead join my heavenly sword peak. I will personally teach you swordsmanship, but don't think that I remain silent because I'm easygoing. Yi Kong quickly stood up to refute him. Chen Sudi, you are openly stealing a disciple from my Xiaoyao Peak, which is likely a violation of sect rules. Seeing him finally emerging from his fishing spot made Chang Qing feel quite startled. Yi Kong, uncle. Noticing that persuading Tian was ineffective, Chang Qing turned to the Grand Elder and said, Yi Kong uncle, you are usually busy with trivial matters and have no intention of teaching disciples. A talent like Lin Tian joining your sect is truly a great treasure. However, he did not hastily agree with him but instead turned to ask Yi Kong, are you really ready to take on a disciple? Lin Tian is an excellent seed for cultivating immortals, and you are not allowed to ruin her. Then, he calmly reassured the Grand Elder, which accidentally made her feel a bit uncomfortable. Grand Elder, don't worry. Isn't she still not at the foundation establishment stage? As long as she is still at the refined chi stage, there is no disciple I cannot teach. In the face of his supreme confidence, Tian had to comment, what a grandiose attitude. You speak as if you are undefeated in the refined chi stage. Yet, before long, Yi Kong regarded her as nothing more than a servant, leaving her speechless. Moreover, right now, I am the only one at Xiaoyao Peak. She comes and could help us tidy up things. I'm sure I want to accept this disciple. Do you want me, the Empress, to help you clean? Then don't blame me for being impolite. With a very high sense of pride, Tian wanted to have a contest to confirm Yi Kong's strength. Yi Master Peak, if you want to take me as your disciple, shouldn't you prove that you are stronger than me? If she wanted to play, he would oblige. How do you want me to prove it? Tian didn't ask for much, just said, take 3 moves from me. However, with Yi Kong's playful nature, he proposed a different plan. No, 3 moves are too troublesome. 1 move is enough. Before his playful attitude, the others couldn't help but chime in, you don't even have the confidence to take 3 of her moves. What a shame for the Xing He sect. So embarrassing. That's right. At this moment, Tian was still very confident in her own robust strength and readily agreed to Yi Kong, alright. Just 1 move to determine the victor. This person doesn't know that I am the Empress reincarnated. Dealing with a useless person like you, even if I were to lose my cultivation, 1 move would still be enough. Although Tian was very serious, preparing to gather her strength to strike Yi Kong, he saw this as just a casual affair. So let's get started. After we finish fighting, we will return to Xiaoyao Peak to eat. I will cook and do the dishes. Trick of the universe. In the face of her incredibly cool attack, Yi Kong just stood there nonchalantly, relaxed and not the least bit afraid. After gathering all her strength, she prepared to strike downwards. And then what was inevitable happened. Yi Kong alone took the full force of her powerful attack. After executing her move, Tian felt very proud. Take this hit, Yi, you will at least be bedridden for half a year. Daring to ask me to do the dishes for you? This is the consequence of speaking carelessly. However, surprisingly, Tian's attack didn't even touch a single hair on him. Your technique has momentum but no power. Don't practice it anymore, it's a waste of time. In the face of this unbelievable situation, she gritted her teeth in anger. I clearly hit him. Why is he completely unscathed? After being mocked by Yi Kong, Tian Tian pointed ahead hesitantly. You. Seeing that things were becoming confusing, everyone voiced their frustration. What are you two playing at? You want to perform a play for us, right? At this moment, she began to guess wildly. That's right. This Yi is a master peak, surely he is wearing a protective garment. Don't think that just because you have a protective garment, I cannot do anything to you. Watch me use my spirit technique. Then Tian Tian began to use her trump card to attack your spiritual sea. At this moment, she was brought into a new space and was very astonished. What is this? She felt as if she was being taken from one surprise to another. The spiritual sea is where cultivators contain spiritual energy. The smaller the spiritual energy, the larger the area of the spiritual sea. Yi Kong is just a chi refining cultivator. How could his spiritual sea be as vast as the ocean? And beneath Tian Tian's feet were waves of water beginning to rise, leaving her stunned. What is going on? Suddenly, he transformed into a giant and surged with the rising water to attack her. Yi Kong. Now it is time for Yi Kong to show Tian Tian what respect means. She was slapped by his wave, leaving her jaw hanging. Having seen her being too gentle until now, he no longer held back and shouted, "This place is not somewhere you can enter. Get out." Both of them escaped from the spiritual sea. While Yi Kong was unharmed physically, Tian Tian had collapsed at the threshold of paradise. He ran to support her and silently rejoiced that he hadn't gone too far. Luckily, if I had taken one more step, her divine consciousness would have been refined by my spiritual sea. At that point, she would become a fool. Then he carried her away. My disciple has been exhausted from continuous battles. Everyone, I will take her back to Xiaoyao Peak. Everyone still couldn't believe what they were seeing. They must have planned this in advance. It has to be so. How could Yi Kong win against Lin Tian Tian like that? However, they did not know that the angriest person at this moment was Chang Qing. Well done, Yi Kong. Playing tricks on me, are you? Today, with the Grand Elder present, I cannot take action against you. Wait until 10 days from now, when Elder Sister arrives, I will definitely trample you underfoot and see if you still have the face to be someone's master. In the delirium of Tian Tian, a few memories suddenly rushed back like a slow-motion film. Mo Na, I am a strong Emperor realm. If I can break through this barrier this time, I will be able to ascend to the celestial realm. Protect me and don't allow anyone to come close. At this moment, she still had not revealed her true self and pretended to agree with her. Tian Tian, don't worry, I won't let anyone get close to you. However, Tian Tian had no idea that while she was cultivating and placing her complete trust in Mo Na, she was actually preparing to stab her in the back. And then, the moment she suddenly realized that harsh truth, it was already too late. With her body soaked in the red blood from Mo Na's crime, Tian Tian could not help but question, I treated you like a sister. Why did you betray me? Mo Na was nothing more than a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding her ambition, because only then can I have everything you have. Remember, in the next life, never trust anyone. As soon as she finished speaking, Mo Na plunged the dagger deeper into Tian Tian's chest, causing blood to splatter endlessly. Bitch. Being betrayed by someone she cherished, a hatred that could not be quelled surged within Tian Tian. I will definitely come back to find you and take revenge. At that moment, she woke up like a startled fawn, looking around in confusion after the nightmare. Where is this place? While Tian Tian was in a state of complete bewilderment, Yi Kong spoke up, you're awake. With her overthinking brain in a final stage, Tian Tian immediately took a fighting stance, ready to attack. Yi Kong, what have you done to me? Then the following words from him left her stunned and confused. Earlier, during the competition, you suddenly fainted. I brought you back to Xiaoyao Peak to rest. Furthermore, now you should call me master. However, in the next moment, her hands moved faster than her brain as she rummaged around Yi Kong, leaving him utterly perplexed. Disciple, what are you doing? At this moment, having searched and found nothing, Tian Tian began to doubt life even more. It can't be wrong, he only has chi refinement cultivation. Could what happened in the spiritual sea earlier have just been a dream? But having stepped into this situation, Tian Tian didn't want to think too much anymore. Well then, my original plan was to join Xiaoyao Peak. As long as you don't disturb my cultivation, letting him be the master in name only is fine. However, Yi Kong was quite thoughtful, having prepared everything for his disciple. Come, see what your master has prepared for your cultivation resources. Being a master for the first time, he was extremely excited. You are now a disciple of Xiaoyao Peak, and of course, the master will nurture you well. Regarding this matter, Tian also felt a little suspicious. Cultivation resources? Could it be a pill furnace? He also has that intention. Thank you, master. However, the moment Tian opened the pot lid and saw a pot of soup before her, she was shocked to the core. Is this the cultivation resource you mentioned? As a food lover, Yi Kong had specially prepared this surprise for Tian. But she stood there, stunned. Of course, this phoenix was caught with great difficulty by the master and simmered with spirit flame. While it's still hot, hurry and eat. In light of his sincere heart, how could she not try a bite? So Tian reluctantly accepted. Well then, after all, he is just a qi refining cultivator, how could he have cultivation resources? Anyway, it's his goodwill, so I'll just eat a bit. But this chicken pot does smell really good. However, just as she was about to grab the chopsticks, Yi Kong stopped her. Wait, Tian looked at the food that was served right in front of her, only to have it taken away, and she was furious with him. Disciple, you can't eat this chicken yet. With your current cultivation, you still can't refine the spiritual energy in the meat. Having had an aversion to Yi Kong from the start, her dislike for him only intensified. Being greedy for food is one thing, but he's even saying I can't refine the spiritual energy in the meat. Isn't this a phoenix? Through this incident, Tian has changed her mind. How can someone so stingy be my master? Tonight, I will leave the Xinghe sect. I don't want to stay here for another moment. However, after taking a huge sip of soup, her eyes widened. She thought the soup would be terrible, but it turned out to be amazing. Immediately, Tian felt a transformation. What is happening? There is a powerful stream of energy flowing into my spiritual sea. How can a bowl of chicken soup be so effective? Did he add high-grade elixirs to the chicken soup? Elixirs of this level are surely rare in a small sect like the Xinghe sect, and yet he used them for me. Now, Tian quickly changed her opinion about Yi Kong in an instant. Consider it a favor I owe you. Once I recover my cultivation, I will definitely grant you an opportunity that will make the Xinghe sect proud to have you. And indeed, his intention to take on a disciple to work for him was not bragging. Master has finished eating, remember to wash the dishes. I'm going outside for a stroll to help with digestion. Then Tian quickly flipped her attitude again, becoming furious at Yi Kong's errands. How annoying, daring to make me do a servant's tasks. What do you think I am? Wait until I restore my cultivation. First, punish him by making him wash all the dishes in Xinghe sect. After eliminating all the chicken soup onto the ground, she slammed the door with an attitude as if she was about to eat Yi Kong alive. However, a tiny ant happened to pass by the pile of soup. Then an unexpected event occurred when the ant began to nibble on the leftover soup. Of course, since the soup contained a type of miraculous elixir, it inevitably led to mutations. The ant became faster, more dangerous, growing larger and cooler by leaps and bounds. Ancient mythical beast skyhorn ant, it looked up at the pitch-black sky. At that moment, the heavens were also furious, raining down several bolts of lightning, heavenly Tao thunderbolt. From high above, a powerful lightning bolt struck directly at the mountain below. Seeing the dazzling and dangerous ray of light approaching, the ant silently prayed. Just then, Yi Kong appeared right on time and jumped into the air. He immediately launched a counterattack, saying, I won't allow anyone to harm this place. Get lost. If you hit the flowers and grass of Xiaoyao Peak, can you afford it? In front of his terrifying appearance, like a monster, even the ant was scared and teared up. Suddenly, out of nowhere, such an alien-like creature appeared, leaving Yi Kong utterly stunned. A skyhorn ant. How could an ancient mythical beast show up on Xiaoyao Peak? After noticing the untouched chicken soup on the ground, he somewhat understood the situation. So, you ate the phoenix bone and triggered ancient veins within you. Faced with this super cute little ant, Yi Kong couldn't bear to drive it away and decided to keep it as a pet. This must be your destiny. I'll call you Xiao Hei. From now on, you'll stay here on Xiaoyao Peak and help me guard the place. Entrusted with this important responsibility, Xiao Hei stood guard outside Xiaoyao Peak, not daring to slack off. It wore a scarf with the word patrol engraved on it, and with a highly serious expression, it wouldn't let anyone trespass. However, Xiao Hei had the advantage of having two incredibly sensitive antennae. Looking ahead, it suddenly noticed a room in the house emitting light. It turned out that the person bringing a bit of brightness to the night was none other than Tian, relaxing in a bath. Apparently, she had a deep-seated disdain for washing dishes and couldn't stop obsessing over it. With her hands covered in dish soap, she had to wash them thoroughly. However, with her extremely sharp senses, she immediately turned her head when she felt something. Water arrow technique. After seeing Xiao Hei burst into the bathroom suddenly, Tian was very displeased. Where did these demon beasts come from? Do they want to die? However, after drinking a significant amount of superior chicken soup, Tian's splash of water had no effect on it. When she realized she couldn't eliminate Xiao Hei in an instant, Tian started to change her perspective. The water arrow technique couldn't harm it. It seemed not to be an ordinary demon beast. It could do whatever it wanted, but first, she had to get dressed, as she couldn't be naked like a larva. With a graceful wave of her hand, her clothes were put on. And then, Tian began to adopt that overbearing tone again, acting like she was taking care of someone younger. Little ant, as long as you serve this emperor, I will grant you a chance. In the future, becoming a demon king is not impossible. However, it was unfortunate for Tian that she encountered an ant not interested in vanity, so it simply shook its head to refuse, leaving Tian in stunned disbelief that her generous offer was overlooked. Did we just get rejected? However, Tian could not accept this situation, so she forced Xiao Hei to comply with her wishes. You have no right to refuse this. Once you become the demon king in the future, you will definitely be grateful to me. Meanwhile, in another place, Yi Kong was holding a book titled Profound Sovereign Decision. I almost forgot. It seems that since he had a disciple, he no longer roamed around fishing all day and had started focusing on teaching. I haven't passed on the skill from Xiaoyao Peak to my disciple. However, as soon as he returned to the sect, he distinctly heard a scream, "Don't." Worried that she might be in trouble, Yi Kong couldn't hesitate and rushed forward at breakneck speed. As soon as he arrived, he anxiously asked, "Disciple, what happened to you?" At that moment, Tian was being scratched repeatedly by Xiao Hei, leaving her no time to defend herself. Just a moment ago she was Yi Kong's beloved, but now she had been ruthlessly thrown away by him for daring to touch her. You bastard! What have you done to my disciple? Then, Yi Kong gently turned to explain and reassure Tian. Disciple, don't be afraid. This is Xiao Hei, the spirit beast guarding the door that I just tamed today. Is there a misunderstanding among you? After all the moments of bravado, everyone was scared, and now Tian showed a moment of weakness. Why are you crying? She sobbed uncontrollably like a 3-year-old child because she felt so inadequate. I can't even defeat the spirit beasts guarding Xiaoyao Peak. However, Yi Kong reassured her by showing her the book he had obtained. Disciple, don't be impatient. If you master this skill book, I guarantee that Xiao Hei won't be your opponent. At this point, Tian had regained her composure and wiped her tears away. Profound sovereign technique? Is it really that powerful? Yi Kong took the opportunity to promote it a bit, of course. This is the supreme secret book of our style. Each time you break through a level, your cultivation will double. Practice hard, and I assure you that at Xiaoyao Peak, besides the master, no one will be your match. However, upon hearing this, Tian was even more inclined to nitpick, but there are only 2 of us at Xiaoyao Peak. Yet since he had the goodwill, she accepted the book. Don't worry, master. I will definitely practice diligently. Even now, Tian still held a grudge about washing the dishes. Although the profound sovereign technique is definitely not as powerful as what the master said. But we can use this skill training to showcase our talent. By then, the master will know how wasteful it is for a genius like me to wash dishes. However, seemingly out of nowhere, they felt a dark force lurking nearby. His face began to tense up like a drawn string. Is it the intent to kill? At that moment, a cow with 2 pairs of long horns was hovering in the air, looking down below. This is indeed the scent, it's true. The soul residue of that woman has indeed escaped to the lower world. Both of them could sense the evil energy because it had brought its body here not for a good purpose, Golden Horn Demon King. Killing her would be a great achievement. The only problem is that they don't know where she is hiding in this mountain now. However, it was as impulsive as cream, it had just arrived and was already itching to make a move. That's right. Let's just split this mountain in half. I don't believe she won't show up. Saying that, the Golden Horn Demon King immediately used a technique to create a brilliant slash. Go! Its attack shot forward like a rocket, then collided with the ground with an earth-shattering impact. At that moment, the scythe-like attack was rushing straight toward Xiaohei. It is true that the little demon was extremely unfortunate when it had to endure one calamity after another. In the moment before preparing to ascend, it shut its eyes tightly, not daring to think. However, at this moment, Xiaohei's mind was filled with the moment Yi Kong had entrusted it with the responsibility of protection, so it could not stand by and watch the sect be in danger without taking action. Xiaohei bravely stepped forward to disrupt the attack from the Golden Horn Demon King. The axe flew back into the hands of the Golden Horn Demon King, who was infuriated by a tiny ant interrupting its work. Where did this little demon come from to dare interrupt this king's business? At that moment, Xiaohei waved its 2 antennae to communicate with the Golden Horn Demon King. After listening, the king understood why Xiaohei was acting this way. You say you are the spirit beast protector of this mountain, preventing me from destroying it? However, in the face of Xiaohei's disapproval, the Golden Horn Demon King did not care and was even angrier. A little demon that hasn't even transformed dares to instruct this king on how to act. Let me chop you into pieces first. But at that moment, from a distance, a stone was suddenly thrown. Just as the Golden Horn Demon King was about to send Xiaohei to meet its ancestors, the stone had stopped it in its tracks. He looked down below, eyes wide and mouth agape, because the master of this place had appeared. Faced with the disturbance of this uninvited guest, Yi Kong also could not ignore it. I am the master of Xiaoyao Peak. Dare to come here to create trouble and injure my spirit beasts, who are you? If he genuinely wanted to know, the Golden Horn Demon King was ready to speak. Little guy, listen carefully. I am the Golden Horn Demon King, under the orders of the Demoness Lord to capture Empress Lin Tian. I know that this person is currently hiding in this mountain. If you obediently hand this person over, I might spare your life. Yi Kong immediately switched to a domineering mode and responded sharply. You tell me to hand someone over? Even the heavenly Tao shouldn't think of demanding anyone from my Xiaoyao Peak. What is a demoness even? At this moment, since the Golden Horn Demon King had not yet seen the coffin and shed no tears, he remained very arrogant. Just a mere chi refiner dares to speak disrespectfully to the Demoness Lord. At this point, the Golden Horn Demon King suddenly donned a suit of armor that emitted a glaring golden light. The Xinghe sect will be destroyed because of your ignorance. Seeing outsiders who knew nothing about his life meddling and judging, Yi Kong found it very amusing. Am I ignorant? Do you know how I exist? I don't want to beat around the bush anymore. If the Golden Horned Bull wants to play, then Yi Kong will wreak havoc with it. In the next moment, before it could do anything, it was controlled by my enormous hand. This shocked the Golden Horned Bull. Previously, it looked down on Yi Kong, but now it was left speechless before the power of this supreme being. Who are you? How can someone at the refined chi stage have such magical talent? In front of its confused fawn-like face, Yi Kong extended his hand, emitting streams of light. Of course, I am at the refined chi stage. Surprised, old man. Then he revealed a mind-blowing truth. But I am at the 3000 level refined chi stage. The moment Yi Kong clenched his fist was when his gigantic hand crushed the golden horned demon king. A green hand emerged from the void. After completing the task, the hand returned Yi Kong its demon pill, and of course, this special gift would be given to his beloved pet. Come here, Xiao He, this is the demon pill of that bull demon. Swallowing it will be very beneficial for you. With sparkling eyes, Xiao He quickly obeyed Yi Kong and ingested the demon pill. At that moment, her whole body began to glow and undergo a transformation. The next second, a magical event occurred as Xiao He turned into an incredibly adorable girl. She was very surprised by her new appearance, so she started to touch everything under the scrutinizing gaze of Yi Kong. Have I transformed? After escaping her life as an ant, Xiao He was overjoyed, as if she had won the lottery, and embraced Yi Kong tightly. Thank you, Master, for helping me transform. I will definitely use this body to repay your great kindness. Hearing this, Yi Kong felt a bit awkward. What do you mean by repaying with your body? Saying that can easily lead to misunderstandings. However, seeing her so happy today, he didn't want to argue too much. Well then, let's just leave it like this for now. I will teach her how to speak like a person later. On one early morning, with a hazy purple mist hovering over the mountain peaks, Tian was sitting in a corner, focusing on her cultivation with a green dragon surrounding her. Suddenly, while closing her eyes, Tian opened them wide, staring straight ahead. Then she raised her hand, emanating a powerful source of energy and commanding the dragon to fly forward. Following this, a colossal column of water surged high as if nearly touching the clouds that were floating in the sky. When successfully achieving my goal, Tian's heart bloomed like spring. The 9 Dragons transformation is the primary skill when I became the Empress, and I have finally mastered it. Previously, I had received the book from Yi Kong quite reluctantly, but after a while, Tian realized its usefulness. Thanks to the profound sovereign manual, unexpectedly, this skill can expand the spiritual sea, allowing me to practice the 9 Dragons transformation even at the refined chi stage. It seems I did not choose the wrong master. However, suddenly Yi Kong approached from behind as if reading Tian's mind and said something that made her gasp. Of course, you didn't choose wrong. Choosing me as your master is the smartest decision of your life. At this moment, the monster inside Tian began to roar, questioning him. Master, why are you hiding behind me and eavesdropping? He pretended to be a confused deer and explained, I wasn't eavesdropping. I came here to fish. From a distance, I saw you blowing up fish in the sea of suffering. Indeed, they were no different from cats and dogs, as every time she met him, it led to conflict. I wasn't blowing up fish, I was practicing. If you weren't my master, I would have already suppressed you with one hand. Seeing Tian like a diligent bee, Yi Kong was also curious about her progress. You're really diligent. So, how far have you practiced the profound sovereign technique? What realm have you reached? Upon hearing this, Tian smiled triumphantly as it was her moment to flex. Finally, you asked. If the master knew I've practiced to the 5th level, he would definitely be amazed by my talent. Tian clasped her hands together with an expression that couldn't be more smug. Reporting to you, Master, your disciple has been practicing all night and has reached the 5th level of the profound sovereign technique. As expected, upon hearing this, Yi Kong was shocked and speechless. The 5th level. In response to Yi Kong's reaction, Tian giggled with satisfaction. Indeed, the master is so astonished that he can't find the words. I have the talent of a great emperor. You'll have to get used to it. However, he was truly shocked, not because she was amazing, but because she was underperforming. In the past, I learned the profound sovereign technique in just the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, yet she has been practicing all night and only made it to the 5th level. Her talent is lacking. At this moment, feeling her own strength surging, Tian suddenly remembered Xiao He. Master, where is Xiao He? Yesterday, I wasn't feeling very well, and today I want to challenge it a bit. At this moment, the old man from Yusho Peak and his followers had arrived here. Searched thoroughly, don't miss any spots. In the presence of these uninvited guests, Yi Kong remained very calm. Disciples of Yusho Peak, why don't you stay at Yusho Peak to breed and come to Xiaoyao Peak instead? Are you here to breed the turtle in this stagnant pond? It's not a pleasant joke, and he was already tense. He didn't have time to joke with Yi Kong, so he said seriously, we came to look for spirit beasts. Whether the turtle in this stagnant pond breeds or not has nothing to do with Yusho Peak. On the surface, he appeared careless, but inside, he silently acknowledged, it seems that Xiao Hei's transformation last night caused too much commotion and was discovered by the old man of Yusho Peak. Tian, regardless of how amazing she was, when facing others invading her territory and shamelessly demanding things, she was straightforward, if Xiaoyao Peak has spirit beasts, then they belong to Xiaoyao Peak, what does it have to do with Yusho Peak? However, at that moment, a new face appeared. No. And the extremely flamboyant young man standing in front of them was Qin Shou, Fengzi Yusho Peak, Cultivation Golden Elixir. According to the sect rules of the Xinghe sect, any spirit beasts that are unclaimed can be captured by any sect. Therefore, even if the spirit beasts are at Xiaoyao Peak, it does not mean they belong to your Xiaoyao Peak. However, Tian was not afraid of anyone and said directly, then you are late. The spirit beasts you are looking for have accepted my master as their owner. Yet they heard every word clearly but were still not convinced and demanded, really? Whether the spirit beasts recognize your master as their owner cannot be determined by your words, it must be confirmed by the spirit beasts themselves. What you say doesn't count. Then they pressed forward, speaking non-stop, the spirit beasts have not yet transformed and basically cannot speak. You were initially planning to rob them outright. This is indeed robbery. I didn't say that, but if you insist on thinking that way, then so be it. The old man from Yusho Peak waved his hand and ordered to bring Xiao Hei over. What are you standing there for? Hurry and find the spirit beasts. Seeing her master looking dazed like someone who had just come down from the mountain, Tian began to formulate a plan. My master is only at the refined chi stage, I cannot rely on him to protect the dignity of Xiaoyao Peak. Although I am at the refined chi stage as well, I have the memories from my previous life and the imperial level skills within me. The establishment of the foundation for monks is usually not a match for us. She looked at Qin Shou with a piercing gaze, only this person, but he is at the golden elixir stage, he probably wouldn't lower himself to fight me. After carefully assessing the situation, Tian decided to go all out. You're too arrogant. Today, I, Lin Tian, will let you know that there are people at Xiaoyao Peak. Indeed, she was gifted in cultivation. Just one move from her was enough to make them spit blood. In the next moment, when they all collapsed to the ground like wheat, both Tian and Qin Shou were left wide-eyed and speechless. However, it turned out that the one responsible for this incident was not Tian. What happened? I haven't even made a move. He felt furious at being played with. Who dares to ambush a disciple of Yusho Peak? If you have the ability, come out. Speaking of which, the old man from Yusho Peak was suddenly met with a strike just as he wanted, intruder at Xiaoyao Peak, expel him. Surprisingly for the old man, the one who caused all this was Xiao Hei, who had transformed. Just a moment ago, Qin Shou had a contemptuous expression, but now he stood frozen in astonishment. Tian quickly turned to Yi Kong in confusion, Xiao Hei. She clearly hasn't transformed yet. With his acting better than a Hollywood actor, he glossed over it, maybe there's something unusual going on. Qin Shou's eyes lit up like a car's headlights when he saw the delicious treat in front of him. Another spirit beast transformation, if I can get that, my combat power will increase by at least 50%. It has to be mine. He then quickly proposed a trade with Yi Kong. Yi uncle, I'll exchange this high-grade foundation establishment pill for that spirit beast, how about it? Disciple, given your uncle's talent, don't mention high-grade foundation establishment pills, even a peak-grade foundation establishment pill would be useless for establishing foundations, so it doesn't help me. At this moment, Tian, who was listening, felt embarrassed. How poor is the talent, really? Then, suddenly, Qin Shou's face darkened as if it were the end of the world. If uncle doesn't want to trade, then I will take my leave. How unusual. Indeed, a scheming person like him wouldn't easily let things go and would resort to tricks to capture her. It was too late to resist. Now Xiao He was caught, tightly bound by Qin Shou's trick. He seemed to be struck by a laughing nerve and burst into laughter. "Yi uncle, you are only at the refined Qi stage, how can you have the right to possess transformed spirit beasts? Hand it over to me so that I can serve the Xing he sect better." In the meantime, although Yi Kong was standing still, Tian was extremely enraged and charged forward, shameless. Seeing a woman like her daring to fight against him, Qin Shou was not afraid and extended his hand to counter the attack. "You at the refined Qi stage dare to strike at me." Suddenly at this moment, it seemed she stumbled back a little. However, just a moment ago he had mocked Tian, and now Qin Shou had to reconsider. Her strike made the blood Qi in my body surge. Is she really just at the refined Qi stage? Fearing they might escalate the situation, he placed a hand on her shoulder to stop her. "Enough, don't fight anymore." However, with her strong and tenacious nature, she would not allow herself to stop. "Master, don't stop me. Today, no matter what happens, I cannot let this shameless man leave." Then, to Tian's astonishment, Yi Kong reassured her, "Rest assured, he won't be able to take Xiao He. The ancient mythical beast has used the inner den of the Demon King. How could it be bound by the magic weapon of a golden elixir cultivator? And of course, this secret is known only to him." Xiao He instantly broke the ropes binding Qin Shou. He now looked like a cow caught by surprise, mouth wide open in disbelief, ready to drop his jaw to the ground. "What, my love binding rope?" After breaking free from Qin Shou's restraints, she sprinted forward like a marathon runner. You bastard, I'll kill you." Now it was time for Xiao He to get her revenge. However, Qin Shou wasn't dumb enough to just sit there and accept it. He quickly pulled out a fan to shield himself. "Want to poke my eyes? But how could I let you have your way? I'll block." Yet Qin Shou was still too inexperienced, as the part she aimed for wasn't his eyes but his nostrils. She swiftly jabbed in, causing him immense discomfort. Unfortunately for Qin Shou, before he could react much, Xiao He had already grabbed him and tossed him far away. Exile the bad guy. Now, Qin Shou laid sprawled on the ground with nostrils as big as wagon wheels. Even his spirit beasts turned against him, teasing, "Big pig nose." Tian seemed to be taken from one surprise to another as she witnessed the increasingly bizarre events. Golden elixir cultivator defeated by Xiao He in one move. Isn't it already the Demon King? After completing her task well, Xiao He happily boasted to Yi Kong, "Master, I have defeated the intruders." In response to her performance, he patted her head with satisfaction. "Not bad, not bad. I knew you, Xiao He, would do well in your mountain duty. Keep it up." Now that everything had been resolved, Yi Kong suddenly recalled something equally interesting. "Oh right, disciple, didn't you say you wanted to challenge Xiao He earlier?" However, after witnessing Xiao He's domineering and impressive strength, Tian wanted to make a quick exit. "No need, I might be a bit tired from staying up late. I'm going to rest now." But Xiao He was not willing to let her off that easily. "Then tomorrow, let's have a match." Given Tian's current strength, Yi Kong reminded himself to try harder to help her. "Really, I've taken on a foolish disciple. I need to think of a way to increase her cultivation." At this time, the night had enveloped the entire landscape, leaving only the bright moon high above. A mysterious group appeared, looking extremely dangerous. It seemed that disaster was about to strike again. Yi Kong returned to his tranquil lifestyle, sitting alone by the riverside, fishing late into the night. He put the basket down on the ground, with a fishing rod slung over his shoulder, preparing to become a child of the sea. The sky is dark and the wind is strong. Tonight is a wonderful time to go fishing. I have a feeling we will have a great catch today. He wore a calm expression, lightly smiling, gazing at the starry night sky before him. However, amid such a picturesque scene, Yi Kong was being watched by the group of the old man Yusho Peak. This Yi Kong thinks that with spirit beasts in disguise helping him, he can look down on us and leisurely go fishing. Senior brother, those spirit beasts are really powerful. Can he really control them? But since he had prepared everything thoroughly, the old man was very confident that he could deal with Yi Kong. Rest assured, to handle the spirit beasts in disguise, the Master Peak Lord has specially assigned the Wind Master Han Yu Kim Bat. No matter how powerful the spirit beasts in disguise are, they won't be able to stir up any big troubles. But to prevent Yi Kong from interfering, they were still very obsessed with Xiao He and secretly discussed among themselves about capturing her at all costs. I brought all beast enchanting incense, which can incapacitate over 10,000 demon beasts. That useless person refining qi will surely sleep for a whole month after inhaling it. As soon as he finished speaking, they didn't wait any longer and immediately heated it up. A few incense sticks were thrown towards Yi Kong, and as soon as they landed on the ground, they caught his attention. At that moment, Yi Kong pretended to be clueless and asked, "Hey, who is burning incense at this late hour?" They saw this and, thinking he had fallen for their trick, laughed gleefully. The next moment, Yi Kong picked up an incense stick and sniffed it, feeling it was familiar. Strange, this smell is somewhat similar to the nicotine I used to smoke. I'll keep this for when I need to be alert. He not only did not throw it away but also set it down on the ground, keeping it close to him. This bizarre Canadian incident left them utterly confused, and they became agitated. How can he not be knocked out? Could it be the dosage isn't enough? Quickly throw all the all-beast enchanting incense you have on you. I don't believe I can't make you faint. They were as angry as monkeys eating chili and continuously hurled incense towards him, determined to turn Yi Kong into a princess who sleeps in the woods. The scene opened with Yi Kong fishing as dusk fell. Surrounding him were floating cigarettes. Suddenly, he seemed to notice the movement of the fishing line. Yi Kong then lifted the fishing rod, and as a result, he caught a goldfish. He happily exclaimed, "Haha! I knew right away that there would be a harvest tonight." Then the fish was grilled to serve for his dinner. Seeing Yi Kong using all-beast enchanting incense to grill the fish, the old man from Yusho Peak couldn't help but feel angry, shouting, "This guy is using our all-beast enchanting incense to smoke the fish." He hurriedly tried to extinguish the smoke while exclaiming in surprise, "What is going on? Did he take the wrong one? This is definitely not all-beast enchanting incense." Yi Kong was sitting there enjoying the grilled fish when he casually glanced over at them. The people from Yusho Peak had all collapsed on the ground from the effects of the incense. Elsewhere, countless ants were crawling on the ground. Xiao He tore the steamed buns into small pieces and dropped them on the ground, saying, "The master says this is called a steamed bun. I find it particularly delicious. You all should try it too." Suddenly, Qin Shou appeared from somewhere, a fiercely looking bird perched on his shoulder. He said, "Miss, you have been deceived by Yi Kong. These steamed buns are food for lowly beings. He clearly does not value you by offering you these buns." The bird echoed his words, does not value. Sensing the danger, Xiao He quickly moved away from him and said, "The villain, daring to speak ill of the master in front of me, I won't spare you." Qin Shou suddenly broke into a sinister smile, pulled out the bowl, and commanded, "Spirit collecting golden bowl, take her for me." Xiao He hadn't fully recovered from her surprise when she was sucked into the bowl. She was trapped inside that bowl. Qin Shou laughed and said, "Even if she is a spirit beast transformed, so what? Isn't she still captured by the spirit collecting golden bowl?" She looked at him with resentment but could do nothing. Qin Shou continued to threaten, "You ought to obediently follow me back to Yusho Peak and acknowledge me as your master. I guarantee you'll have gourmet food that you can't finish." Xiao He used all her strength to try to escape from the bowl, but it was all in vain. He continued, "Go ahead, strike away, you can hit as you wish. This spirit-collecting golden bowl is a treasure of Yusho Peak. I can imprison even yawning ferocious beasts. Even if you exert all your strength, don't expect to make a crack." Suddenly, a streak of light swept across the bowl, causing Qin Shou to widen his eyes in surprise. He looked around in trembling and shouted, "Who?" Qin Shou continued to look but saw no one. He was cautious, silently thinking, the people from Xiaoyao Peak must be knocked out by now. Could it be that other peaks are also targeting transformed spirit beasts? The night is long and dream-filled, it's best to bring the spirit beasts back to Yusho Peak soon. Suddenly, he looked panic-stricken at the bowl. He was extremely surprised, unable to believe his eyes because the bowl had been pierced and broken by a fishbone. He quickly shouted, "What? The demon gold bowl has been pierced by a fishbone again, how can this be?" Seizing the opportunity, Xiao He immediately unleashed her strength. She used all her power to throw a strong punch at Qin Shou's face, catching him off guard. The punch knocked him back far. Qin Shou couldn't believe his eyes, saying, My gold bowl." It seemed there was a wave of dark energy waiting for Qin Shou to face. Xiao He had truly exploded with rage. Realizing the danger before him, he hurriedly raised his hands to surrender. "Miss, I will leave Xiaoyao Peak myself now, you don't need to take action anymore." Xiao He clenched her fists, her face showing extreme anger. Under the night sky, Qin Shou's scream echoed far, causing his bird beast perched high above to tremble in fear. Transitioning to the early morning the next day. Tian rubbed her eyes after a night of sleep. She quickly stretched and yawned. "Last night's cultivation was great. Why did I suddenly fall asleep? Well then, let's go to the room to wash my face." As she was walking, she suddenly discovered something. Seeing Qin Shou slumped against a tree, she took a fighting stance and said, "You Shou Peak, you are being too arrogant. You came to Xiaoyao Peak early in the morning to block my door, this is forcing me to take action." Qin Shou looked up, revealing a face swollen with bruises, his expression filled with silent grievance. Seeing this, Tian was alarmed and kicked, sending Qin Shou flying. His beast called out, "Big pig head! Big pig head! Big pig head!" He looked very miserable at that moment, silently telling himself, I will never dare to go to Xiaoyao Peak again." At Heavenly Sword Peak, people gathered to watch a martial arts performance in the yard from a distance. Everyone was very surprised, all showing expressions of admiration. The source of their astonishment came from Chongqing's display. He was performing a very skillful sword dance. "Everyone, watch closely." Then he leaped high and said, "This move is called the soul-seeking door, which amazes everyone." Then he jumped to the ground, causing the tiles to crack. The people around began to discuss and highly praise Chongqing's skills. One person said, "The sword technique of the senior brother can transform into 9 streams of sword chi. Today has truly opened my eyes." Another agreed, "That's right, do you think the title of Little Sword God was given for fun?" Someone remarked, "If in this life I can reach even half the level of the senior brother, it would not be a wasted life." Chongqing turned to smile, thinking to himself, "With your level, being able to practice 1/10 of my skills would already be a blessing from your ancestors, and you still ask for half." His expression changed, looking very angry. He thought, "This year's new disciple indeed has talent, only Lin Tian, but she rejected my invitation to join Xiaoyao Peak." Suddenly, a young lady said to Chongqing, "Senior brother, I didn't quite understand the move just now, could you please point it out for me?" Then other young ladies followed suit, exclaiming, "Teach me too, senior brother, I also don't fully understand, please teach me." And the scene that was bound to happen came. The girls were competing to be taught by Chongqing. One said, "I am the first to seek guidance from senior brother." Another argued, "Senior brother is not just yours." He suddenly realized something, "I understand now, I know why she rejected me." So he began to imagine the illusion realm. The girls gathered around, hoping to be taught, thinking, Lin Tian must have known that I was admired by the female disciples, so she deliberately rejected me. Then he laughed loudly and said, "Haha, this soft tactic is really good." He smiled wickedly, thinking, Lin Tian, you have indeed succeeded in attracting my attention. But if I have understood everything, how can I let you continue to be with that useless person? Lin Tian, you wait, I will come to Xiaoyao Peak to pick you up. At Xiaoyao Peak, Tian was sitting seriously practicing martial arts. Suddenly, a voice broke her concentration, Tian sister, I came to discuss with you. Xiao He was running towards her, calling, Tian sister. But strangely, Tian was no longer there. Xiao He wondered, hey, why can't I see her? That was because Tian Tian had run away at light speed. She silently thought with fear, with my current cultivation, I am definitely no match for Xiao He. In short, I should avoid her as much as possible before foundation establishment. While fleeing, she encountered Chongqing, who was also looking for her. He hurriedly greeted, Lin Jr. sister, how have you been? Unfortunately, Tian Tian could not remember him. She asked, who are you? He panicked and explained, I am Chen Chongqing, the disciple of Heavenly Sword Peak. During the recruitment ceremony, I invited Lin Jr. sister to join Heavenly Sword Peak. She tried to remember and suddenly realized, oh, there was someone like you. Tian Tian raised an eyebrow in confusion, what are you doing at Xiaoyao Peak? Is Heavenly Sword Peak aiming for Xiao He as well? Chongqing asked in bewilderment, Xiao He? What is that? He quickly smiled and invited, this time I came just to invite Lin Jr. sister to cultivate at Heavenly Sword Peak. She turned her back and bluntly refused, no. I am a disciple of Xiaoyao Peak, why should I go to Heavenly Sword Peak to cultivate? He quickly grabbed her arm, raised a book, and said, wait. As long as Lin Jr. sister agrees to join Heavenly Sword Peak, I will impart the supreme skill and the Wind Shadow Sword formula to you. She looked at the notebook in astonishment, thinking, the ultimate wind control technique. In the past, the profound sovereign taught me the master technique that helped me greatly increase my cultivation. If this Wind Shadow Sword formula has a similar effect, I can't let it slip away. Tian Tian smiled and asked, Chen senior brother, can I take a look at this Wind Shadow Sword formula first? He quickly replied, of course, Lin Jr. sister, feel free to take a look. Looking at the unique techniques in the book, she couldn't help but be amazed and asked, Chen senior brother, did you take the wrong one? Is this really the mystical grade swordsmanship? Chongqing grinned slyly and answered, that's right. Moreover, this is not ordinary swordsmanship, but a top-tier mystical grade swordsmanship at the peak of the 9 levels, extremely precious. Lin Jr. sister, you must seize this great opportunity. Her face darkened, and she thought angrily, martial arts in the world can be divided into 6 ranks, divine, holy, celestial, earth, mysterious, and yellow. The imperial swordsmanship I practiced was at least at the celestial level. He dared to deceive me with a mystic grade. She hurriedly threw the notebook back at him and said, senior brother, this swordsmanship is too powerful, I can't learn it. I'll continue to stay at Xiaoyao Peak. Chongqing was taken aback and quickly tried to hold on. Junior sister, don't go. I'll teach you. He was furious and thought to himself, if I had known she would complain about it being difficult, I should have used the swordsmanship of the armor instead. The sky was at dusk, nearly dark, when suddenly a hand reached out toward a strange object and said, it's time. Yi Kong cast a spell, harnessing the light emanating from the strange orb, and suddenly a tremendous source of power flowed into him. Yi Kong held the magical broom and said with a smile, the broom made from phoenix feathers contains the essence of the great Tao. Good disciple, you have joined my sect of Xiaoyao Peak, you just need to lie still as the master takes you flying. At this moment, Tian Tian was comfortably enjoying her bath when Yi Kong suddenly rushed in, surprising her. He cheerfully said, disciple, master has brought you something good. She angrily shouted, master, why did you come in without knocking? Yi Kong aggrievedly said, you keep hiding in the bathroom, no wonder your cultivation speed is so slow. Hurry up and get dressed. Master has something to tell you. I am waiting for you outside. This only made Tian Tian angrier. She gritted her teeth and yelled, again, saying my cultivation speed is slow. Tian Tian cursed inwardly, I have already broken through from the 6th to the 8th level of refined qi these past few days at Xiaoyao Peak. Not mentioning it to avoid scaring you. Then, she had already put on her clothes and went out to ask, Master, what do you want me for? Yi Kong then took out a feather duster and boasted, look at this item that Master has prepared for you. It will help you with your cultivation. Tian Tian gasped in shock and said, no, you don't want me to use this feather duster to clean, do you? My room is already very clean and doesn't need sweeping. Then, he grabbed her hand and ran while saying, sweep? No, it's for hitting people. Tian's face darkened as she angrily thought, how dare a regular refined chi cultivator like you hit me. She shook Yi Kong's hand off and shouted, Master, please go outside, if not, don't blame me for suppressing you. Yi Kong cheerfully, seemingly oblivious to Tian's attitude, placed a hand on her shoulder and said, Disciple, trust Master, just one incense stick. Hurry up and lie face down on the bed. Tian shouted loudly, come out. She swung her hand to attack Yi Kong, but he easily dodged. She was surprised because she didn't think he could evade her. Yi Kong stood behind, waving the feather duster, leaving Tian unable to react in time. Tian had a strange feeling. She blushed, thinking, what is this feeling? It's coming straight to my head. No, I can't hold back much longer. Yi Kong chuckled and reminded her, Disciple, focus your mind and feel the intention of the great Tao. Tian screamed as she felt as if countless hands were touching her body. She gradually became excited, thinking, yes, this is the intention of the great Tao. It turns out that Master's feather duster is indeed a treasure, I have misunderstood him. She shyly lay face down on the bed and pleaded, Master, please whip me. Just then, Chongqing rushed in from somewhere. He smirked, thinking, Lin Jr. sister, I've found a mid-grade sword formula for you, I guarantee you'll learn it. Suddenly, his expression changed upon hearing, Master, please give me power. He glanced through the shadow of Tian's room. Seeing Yi Kong swinging the feather duster to hit Tian, he couldn't help but be shocked. He was furious, gritting his teeth and shouting loudly, You. Yi Kong, if you dare to touch my woman, I will kill you. Suddenly, Xiao Hei's vision darkened, and a person full of hidden weapons appeared out of nowhere, striking him on the head with a stick, causing Chongqing to fall forward. Then, she looked down at him with disdain, pulled Chongqing's unconscious body, and said, Is that all you can do, and yet you dare to threaten the master? The scene shifted to the morning, with Tian sleeping soundly. She slowly opened her eyes and stretched, yawning, Is it morning already? She hurriedly adjusted her posture and groaned, It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Remembering how she had begged Yi Kong to hit her and feeling embarrassed, she thought, That's right, yesterday I told the master to hit me, but he really didn't hold back at all, showing no mercy. Tian contemplated for a moment and then decided, having been hit like that cannot be in vain, I must see if my cultivation has increased. She began to concentrate on her training, and a powerful source of magical energy immediately surrounded Tian. This source of energy manifested as a towering structure. She was astonished, her mouth agape, thinking, What? I have already reached refining chi level 9. Before being struck by the master, I was only at refining chi level 7. So what kind of magic weapon is that feather duster that can help me increase 2 minor realms? Tian hurriedly changed her clothes, telling herself, Don't think about that anymore. If I'm already at refining chi level 9, I should break through to the foundation establishment realm. First, I need to prepare the items for foundation establishment. She changed into a brilliant outfit, her aura becoming captivating. She said, It's just that this empress has extraordinary talent. Using ordinary foundation establishment items will only waste my talent and hinder my development. She raised an eyebrow, shook her head and happily said, This Xinghe sect definitely doesn't have foundation establishment items worthy of me. Fortunately, I have prepared ahead of time to use the pieces I set up from my previous life. Then, she clasped her fingers together and recited some kind of incantation. Her hand projected that source of power and said, Go. The next morning, at the headquarters of the Tian Market City, the president of the Tian Market City, Xiao Yuan, was calculating the accounts. This month's spirit stone income is 30% more than last month. It seems the batch of elixirs imported last time is very popular. However, the cost of coral from Nangang has significantly increased, so we need to think of a way to enhance its value. Then, with years of experience, an idea suddenly struck him. That's right, just say this coral is ground into powder and mixed with water for drinking, claiming it has the effect of nourishing the kidneys and strengthening yang. I can't believe it won't sell for a high price. Immediately after, a letter from the Tian Emperor of Heaven reached Xiao Yuan. He calmly asserted, "This is the heavenly sound transmission talisman from His Majesty. His Majesty is still alive." He read the words in front of him with a contemplative expression and continued to speculate, "His Majesty is asking me to prepare foundation establishment items. It seems that even though His Majesty is not dead, he has lost all his cultivation. Otherwise, why would he have to start cultivating from scratch?" Unlike Tian's thoughts, Xiao Yuan immediately waved his hand to dismiss those lines, with a sly smile, muttering, "Your Majesty, the top-notch foundation establishment item you desire, I do have, but why should I give it to you for free? Do you really still think you're the Empress, feared by all?" Then, he pulled out a bone from the mouth of his black pet, looking pleased as he gazed at the bone, and laughed, "Thinking of the past bond we shared as ruler and minister, I will gift you a piece of Shika bone. You can go ahead and use it for foundation establishment." At the same time, at Xiaoyao Peak, Xinghe sect, Yi Kong was carrying a wooden box towards Tian's room. While walking, he cheerfully mumbled, "My disciple has reached the 9th level of Qi refinement. As a master, I naturally have to prepare foundation establishment items for her. This phoenix bone contains true phoenix blood essence, and it's most suitable for my disciple to use it for foundation establishment." But when he arrived at the door, he suddenly remembered the accident from before and stopped. "Wait, don't tell me she is taking a bath in her room again." Yi Kong decided to stand outside, knock on the door, and call out, "Disciple, it's master, may I come in now?" At that moment, Tian was applying medicine, her face flushed like a raspberry, and she hurriedly shouted back, "Master, don't come in yet. If you have something to say, just say it outside." Hearing her voice, he thought to himself, "Indeed, she is taking a bath again, lucky I asked first." Yi Kong gently scratched his head and said, "It's nothing much, it's just that master sees you have reached the 9th level of Qi refinement, so I prepared foundation establishment items for you. I placed it outside your door, remember to take it in." Saying that, he placed the box down, feeling joyful as he thought, "Later when my disciple sees the foundation establishment item I prepared, it will be the phoenix bone. It would surely be moving enough to make me cry." Then he turned away and left, saying as he walked, "But what I hate the most is seeing girls cry. How about going fishing instead?" Not long after, the bird sent by Xiao Yuan also delivered the items. Its beak clamped onto the box containing the bone fragment. The bird opened its mouth, letting the box fall freely. It landed beside the box that Yi Kong had placed. Therefore, when Tian opened the door, she saw the 2 boxes on the ground and couldn't help but wonder, why are there 2 boxes? She looked up and noticed the delivery bird, realizing, so the foundation establishment item Xiao Yuan sent has arrived too. Let me see if the foundation establishment item he sent is a supreme item. Tian opened the smaller box first, picked up the tiny bone fragment, and her face immediately darkened as she said indignantly, "Crimson bird precious bone. He dares to use this to gloss over for me." Then she glanced at the larger box nearby and changed her mind, "Wait, the crimson bird precious bone must be a gift from the master. The foundation establishment item I asked Xiao Yuan to send is probably in this wooden box." However, since the small box disappointed her, she couldn't help but grimace nervously when opening the large box. The light from the treasure shone directly into her face. When the box was fully opened, the light inside was so bright that she had to shield her eyes with her hand. Tian completely misunderstood, letting out a relieved breath, muttering, "Right, this is the supreme foundation establishment item I've been wanting. Xiao Yuan has put in effort, I didn't misjudge him." She then looked at the small box with the chewed dog bone and gently said, "With the master's ability, acquiring this Zikio Baogo bone is already the limit. I accept this goodwill." Tian placed the phoenix Baogo on a pillow, while she sat in meditation preparing for the breakthrough. She utilized her spiritual energy to make the bone levitate in the air, her face full of confidence and satisfaction, saying, "This time with the supreme foundation establishment item, I will definitely achieve a perfect foundation establishment. After a while, surpassing the previous life won't be difficult." At that time, I will raise Xiaoyao Peak with my left hand and lift Xing He sect with my right, and the master will obediently kneel beneath my pomegranate skirt. Saying that, she closed her eyes, focused her mind, and saw the spiritual energy in the room swirling toward Tian Tian. Soon after, a giant red phoenix appeared atop Xiaoyao Peak. Master Xing He sect, Liang Tian was admiring the scenery when he was startled. His serious and agitated expression exclaimed, "A celestial phenomenon has appeared in the sky above Xiaoyao Peak. Could it be that an extraordinary talent is breaking through on Xiaoyao Peak?" The Grand Elder, who appeared out of nowhere, approached him and said, "Master, do you think that extraordinary talent is Yikong?" Yang Tian remained indifferent and calmly replied, "Whether it is him or not, we will know as soon as we go to Xiaoyao Peak." The two flew toward Xiaoyao Peak. Along the way, phoenix feathers fell like rain. Upon arriving, the Grand Elder confidently stated, "Master, this celestial phenomenon is right above the main hall of Xiaoyao Peak. It must be caused by Yikong's foundation establishment, there is absolutely no doubt." Yang Tian stroked his beard, gazing at the beautiful scenery, smiled lightly and said, "I didn't expect that when Yikong is quiet, he can do just that, but once he takes action, it can shake the heavens and the earth. Previous masters in heaven will surely feel comforted." While Yang Tian was fishing, he was disturbed by this phoenix, and he complained unhappily, "What's with this phoenix making noise? It's scaring all my fish away." He lightly waved his hand a few times, expressing his annoyance. "The phoenix has dissipated. Go away, don't disturb my fishing." Yang Tian was delighted, but upon seeing this, he was shocked and exclaimed, "Why has this phenomenon suddenly disappeared?" The Grand Elder pointed to another mountain and exclaimed in surprise, "Master, look over there, the phenomenon has moved to the sky above Yusho Peak." This strange occurrence left Yang Tian stunned, pale, and astonished. "What's going on? Does this phenomenon actually know how to roam around?" The other disciples of Yusho Peak, seeing the phoenix suddenly appear, were all abuzz. "Hurry and come see what is happening in the sky." The master of Yusho Peak, Qin Wu-yi, stood in the courtyard looking up at the phenomenon, joyfully exclaiming, "Don't panic, this is the phenomenon that appears when an extraordinary talent breaks through their realm." Hearing this, the disciples of Yusho Peak gathered together, curiously speculating, "Isn't Qin Shou's senior brother in seclusion to break through to the nascent soul stage? Could the extraordinary talent at the master mentioned be Qin Shou's senior brother?" Before long, Yang Tian and the Grand Elder also arrived. A disciple shouted loudly to announce, "Master, Grand Elder has arrived." As the two landed, Wu Yi stood straight, smiled industriously, and spoke. "Master, Grand Elder, are the two of you here because of this heavenly phenomenon?" Yang Tian stroked his beard and readily admitted, "That's right, Master Qin is currently at Yusho Peak." "Is there anyone breaking through?" Wu Yi clasped his hands in respect and reporting to Master, "Currently at Yusho Peak, only my disciple Qin Shou is in seclusion, breaking through to Yuaning." Upon hearing this, the Grand Elder calmly replied with a regretful expression, "It seems this heavenly phenomenon was created by Qin Shou and has nothing to do with Yikong." Wu Yi did not hide his disdain and jested, "Grand Elder, you are joking again. Yikong is merely a qi refining cultivator. What virtue or talent does he have to create a heavenly phenomenon?" Yang Tian then explained, "Master Qin is not aware that this heavenly phenomenon initially appeared at Xiaoyao Peak, but it seems it was just passing through." After clarifying the situation, he left, not forgetting to instruct, "Now that the cause of the heavenly phenomenon is clear, we won't stay here much longer. After Qin Shou exits, have him come to Xinghe Hall, I have a reward for him." Wu Yi respectfully clasped his hands to bid him farewell and responded dutifully. Qin Wu Yi expressed his gratitude to the master on behalf of his disciple. Though he appeared respectful, his eyes betrayed his dissatisfaction. He murmured, "You see, my disciple Qin Shou has the talent of a great emperor, so you want to steal him away? Liang Tian, how can I help you achieve your goal?" Once the master and Grand Elder had disappeared from view, he no longer concealed his ambitions and arrogantly declared, "This position of master will be yours for a few more years, until my disciple attains the great emperor realm, at which point the Xinghe sect will have a new master." The next morning, Yikong was leisurely grilling the catch he had made the previous night. Very good. He took a skewer of vegetables to eat first, his face expressing happiness as he exclaimed, what could be more delightful than fishing and grilling skewers of meat in life? As Yi Kong was savoring his meal, the cheerful voice of Tian Tian sounded, Master, I have established my foundation. He turned to see her gently landing, as beautiful as a fairy. That moment left him in awe. However, immediately after that, Yi Kong became so absorbed in the delicious food that he overlooked the beauty and casually replied, I know. Tian Tian was shocked to see him so nonchalant, her mouth agape. Unwilling to accept it, she thought, I have already reached foundation establishment, how can master be so calm? No wonder he is just an old refined chi, showing no ambition at all. However, she had not given up, gracefully provoking, Master, now that I have reached the foundation establishment realm, is there nothing you want to say? In her heart, she lamented, this master is too lazy, I need tow him a little more. But Yi Kong basically didn't care. Holding a fishing rod in one hand and a skewer in the other, he lazily said, all right, I'll say a few words. You have just reached foundation establishment, you need to stabilize your realm well and not be arrogant. Your path ahead is still very long. These words left her speechless, her expression as if she had eaten something bitter, and she silently rebutted, Master, don't you feel embarrassed saying that? I have reached foundation establishment, while you are still in refined chi. You say I have no issues, but your face isn't red, and your heart isn't racing, is it really okay to say that? Just as she thought that, she heard a loud ringing bell. Tian Tian had just arrived and, not knowing, asked blankly, what is that sound? Yi Kong put down the fishing rod and calmly explained, this is the sound of the bell that master uses to summon the masters of the 5 peaks for a council. He stood up, turned away, and did not forget to remind his disciple, Master has to attend a meeting, you stay at Xiaoyao Peak and continue your cultivation, do not be lazy. Tian Tian heard this and mechanically replied, yes, Master. In her heart, she protested, you are the only one on Xiaoyao Peak, being lazy every day. After he left, she sighed helplessly like an old woman, it's difficult to have the master with me, from now on, Xiaoyao Peak can only rely on me. A moment later, at a mountain of the master, in front of Shenghe Hall. Inside the hall, all the master peaks of the 5 sects gathered. Wu Yi and his newly advanced disciple asked, Master called the master peaks of our sects here, what is the important matter? Yang Tian sat on the throne and calmly explained, I summoned everyone to discuss 3 matters, but the master peak of Xiaoyao Peak has not arrived yet, let's wait a little longer. Hearing about Yi Kong, Wu Yi couldn't control his mouth and arrogantly said, what's the point of waiting for a master peak just to fill the numbers? I say, we might as well give Xiaoyao Peak to Yusho Peak, it would be good to cultivate more spirit beasts for the sect. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Kong entered. He sarcastically said, Qin's senior brother's ambition is indeed great. Eager to annex Xiaoyao Peak, I opened the opportunity to expand power like this, not aiming for the position of master, right? He looked at the man with a half-smile. Feeling exposed, Wu Yi stammered, Yi Kong. He hurriedly shouted to clarify, you're talking nonsense, I didn't. In his mind, he anxiously thought, how did he see through me? Did I express myself so clearly? Qin Shou, with no regard for manners, interjected, his face showing clear excitement, loudly questioning, Yi Kong uncle, our master was delayed in discussions because you arrived late, yet you slander him by claiming he wants to aim for the position of master. You owe Yusho Peak an explanation. Yi Kong, without hesitation, retorted, looking disdainfully at the two, fine, as long as your master dares to accept the soul probing and claims he has no intention of becoming master, I will compensate Xiaoyao Peak to Yusho Peak. As soon as these words were uttered, Qin Shou was left speechless, fearfully stuttering, you. Yang Tian, unable to endure any longer, slammed his hand on the armrest and shouted angrily, enough. The more you talk, the more excessive it gets, both of you stop. If the masters of Wu Feng Peak are all present, then let's begin the discussion. These words put an end to the argument. Yang Tian was just about to start the program first, when someone jumped in and shouted, wait a minute. This time, it was Chun Yang who was dissatisfied. He pointed at the 2 disciples, Wu Yi, and condemned, although Yi Kong is only at the refined Qi level, he is still the master peak of Xiaoyao Peak. But Qin Shou is merely a fengzi of Yu Shou Peak. What right does he have to participate in the discussions of the 5 peaks? Hearing this, Yi Kong felt agitated, his mouth twitching. He thought, this Chen Chun Yang keeps dragging me into this whenever he mentions Qin Shou. He's exactly like his disciple, both equally annoying. Yang Tian maintained his calm demeanor and gently explained, I asked Master Qin to bring Xiao Qin here. In fact, this is exactly what I intended to discuss first. Yang Tian tossed an item to Qin Shou while announcing, Master Qin Shou of Yu Shou Peak has broken through to Yuaning, causing a phenomenon in heaven and earth, possessing the talent of a great emperor. As a special reward, he receives a Yuaning magic weapon. Qin Shou held the newly gifted magic weapon with both hands, his eyes shining like car headlights, and excitedly exclaimed, it's the purple gold pagoda. He beamed with joy, clasped his hands, and bowed, saying, Qin Shou thanks the master. Yi Kong shot a glare at Qin Shou, sneering before speaking up. Everyone says that Chen Changqing is the leader of the younger generation of our Xinghe sect, but Qin Shou has the talent of a great emperor, and it is likely that he will surpass him. Chun Yang, who is usually hot-tempered, couldn't hold back and yelled loudly, what great emperor talent. Since joining the sect, our Changqing has always been a rank above Qin Shou. If anyone has the talent of a great emperor, it should be our Changqing. Wu Yi refused to back down either, glaring with wide eyes and yelling back, that's nonsense. When Chen Changqing broke through to Yuaning, did he create any heavenly and earthly phenomena? Then the two argued back and forth like fishmongers. Chun Yang directly questioned, everyone knows that Yu Shou Peak has all kinds of nonsense, perhaps this heavenly and earthly phenomenon was fabricated by you. Wu Yi retorted excitedly, so, Chun Yang, are you implying that we at Yu Shou Peak fabricated it? He replied sharply, isn't that the case? If not, why would your disciple be worthy of creating a heavenly and earthly phenomenon? These old men were making such a ruckus that it seemed like they were about to fight. Yang Tian angrily shouted, everyone, be quiet. One is the master of Yu Shou Peak, and the other is the master of Heavenly Sword Peak. What kind of dignity is left after such a quarrel? But this time, the authority of the master was completely ineffective. Wu Yi bulged his eyes and arrogantly stated, Master, it was Chen Chun Yang who provoked first, saying that my disciple is not as good as Chen Changqing. Chun Yang also glared with bloodshot eyes, loudly proclaiming, I speak the truth. Qin Shou is indeed not as good as Chen Changqing. The two were now in the midst of a tug-of-war. Yang Tian's face darkened, and he declared, both Chen Changqing and Qin Shou are outstanding members of our younger generation from the Xinghe sect. As for who among them is stronger, we will see clearly during the upcoming 5 Peaks Grand Competition. Yang Tian then paused, his expression serious as he asked, may I inquire when Master intends to hold this 5 Peaks Grand Competition? Seeing the two had stopped, he then sternly announced, this is the second matter I wish to discuss today. In 15 months, the 5 Peaks Grand Competition, held once every 10 years, will officially take place. After you all return to your respective sects, remember to urge your disciples to diligently train and prepare well for this competition. At his command, all the masters complied and replied in unison, we respectfully obey Master's instructions. Yang Tian gestured and added, the Grand Elder has delivered a letter. As for the third matter to mention, there is a flood dragon running to disturb the De Yen Kingdom. The De Yen Kingdom does not have the strength to handle it, so they seek aid from our Xinghe sect. He took the letter, held it up to the Master Peaks, and boldly announced the mission. The De Yen Kingdom offers tribute to our Xinghe sect every year, so we cannot neglect them. Anyone among you who has time, please take care of this. Seeing an opportunity to show off, Qin Shou excitedly wanted to apply but was stopped by the master. Master, I, Qin Shou, am willing. Wu Yi glanced at Yi Kong and promptly proposed, providing several arguments. Among the master peaks of the 5 sects, if we talk about who is the most idle, apart from Yi Kong, who else is there? Moreover, since Yi Kong became the master of the Xiaoyao Peak, he hasn't accomplished anything. Now there's an opportunity to contribute to the sect. How can we compete with him? Yi Kong knew what he was trying to do, sneered, and thought to himself, Qin Wu Yi is forcing me to take on this mission, there must be something shady about it. I won't accept it, what can you do to me? Just as he was about to refuse, the system abruptly appeared. It came to deliver a mission with an offer that couldn't be refused. Special mission. Host go to the Dayen Kingdom to handle a sect mission. Reward, a clue prop for Foundation establishment for the host. Yi Kong looked at the reward, his eyes shining brightly, excitedly laughing maniacally. What is this clue prop for Foundation establishment? It turns out I can Foundation establish. So he eagerly agreed, much to the astonishment of his colleagues. I accept this mission. At this moment, Yi Kong was extremely excited, laughing like a madman and threatening. Don't compete with me. Anyone who does will have trouble with me. The Grand Elder, seeing him so impetuous, widened his eyes in shock. He turned to nod at Yang Tian. Seeing that no one objected, he decisively said, if ye Master Peak is this enthusiastic, then I will assign this mission to you. Qin Shou couldn't keep up with his master's thoughts, looking confused. Master, it's just a flood dragon, I can handle it. Why give this credit to Yi Kong? Wu Yi then let out a lewd laugh, his sly eyes looking at his disciple. You've always wanted to tame the spirit beast at Xiaoyao Peak, right? If he doesn't go down the mountain, how can I capture it and bring it back for you? A moment later, at Xiaoyao Peak, knowing that he was about to go kill the dragon, Tian exclaimed in shock, what? She panicked and worriedly exclaimed, Master, are you planning to go to the Dayen Kingdom to eliminate the flood dragon? Master, do you know what level of demon beast the flood dragon is? You're too reckless. Yi Kong hurried back and forth searching, not paying attention, and asked, what level? Tian immediately grabbed Xiao He and, with a serious expression, explained to him, even a newborn little flood dragon has the strength of a second-tier demon beast, equivalent to the Foundation establishment realm of humans. An adult flood dragon is at least a demon king, just like Xiao He's level. But Yi Kong didn't listen at all. He pulled an old wooden box from under the bed and joyfully exclaimed, ah, I found it. Seeing the dusty box, Tian was taken aback and asked, what treasure did you find? Yi Kong happily took out an old wooden sword, his face excited like a child, and said, it's the wooden sword I made myself when I practiced swordsmanship years ago. I thought I had burned it for firewood, but I didn't realize I had thrown it under the bed. Her words made her dumbfounded. His nonchalant attitude made her furious, and she shouted, have you not been listening to anything I've said? Yi Kong looked over his belongings with a confident and proud expression and reassured, I've heard everything. Don't mention just an ordinary flood dragon. Even if it's a true dragon, in the eyes of this master, it's no different from an eel, so you can rest assured. At this point, Tian was speechless. His beak twitched, wanting to scold someone. All I can do is scoff. In my past life as the Empress, I wouldn't even dare say that. You're not just boasting anymore, it's like you're blasting off like an elephant. With one item obtained, Yi Kong left immediately, not forgetting to remind his disciple, alright, while I'm gone, you two should practice if you have time, or just rest if you don't. Just make sure not to leave Xiaoyao Peak. Xiao He cheerfully replied, oh, Xiao He won't go anywhere. Tian responded outwardly, disciple obeys. Inside, he sighed, the master really doesn't know his own strength. If I don't secretly protect him, he might not come back from the mountain at all. This emperor is genuinely worried for this careless master. After leaving Xiaoyao Peak, before setting off, he turned around and waved goodbye to Xiao He and Tian. Once Yi Kong disappeared from view, Tian warned Xiao He, stay obediently at Xiaoyao Peak. I'm going to protect the master. If not, I'm afraid that master will be eaten by that flood dragon until there's nothing left of him. Hearing that, Xiao He felt strange, does the master need Tian to protect him? A moment later, Tian climbed onto a branch and stealthily followed. Yi Kong was on his way to carry out a mission when he suddenly realized someone was following him. Tian was too obvious in her tracking. He simply thought she wanted to go out to clear her mind, and sighed to himself, really, Lin Tian is too playful. I told her to stay at Xiaoyao Peak to cultivate, yet she secretly followed me. Xiao He was still obedient. Thinking of Xiao He, he suddenly remembered the two disciples Wu Yi and became alert. But that old man Qin will surely take advantage of my absence to target Xiao He. I need to leave behind some precautions. So Yi Kong gently stepped down, releasing a wave of blue spiritual energy. He stepped down again, and the blue spiritual energy immediately spread out like a small wave, forming a strong dome-shaped barrier that covered Xiao Yao Peak just seconds later. After setting up the protective cage, Yi Kong felt secure to leave. Now I can go deal with the monsters with peace of mind. Tian hid behind a tree, feeling the terrifying spiritual energy, her jaws trembling. What was that shock just now? Not long after, Yi Kong arrived at a bustling yet strangely deserted fortress. It was the site of an important mission, the imperial capital of the Deyan Kingdom. The ruler of the Deyan Kingdom was very excited upon hearing that someone from the Xinghe sect had arrived. What? The Xinghe sect has sent a master peak to eliminate evil. The messenger confirmed the news. That's right. He was tense, jumped to his feet, and eagerly asked, "Is it a man or a woman? How old?" The soldier reporting the news half knelt, looked up at him, and promptly replied. Reporting to the ruler, "It is a man, looking very young, about 20 years old." Upon hearing this, his mind raced, his expression a mix of astonishment and joy. I see. A 20-year-old male master peak from the Xinghe sect. Without a moment's hesitation, the ruler opened his eyes wide with excitement and exclaimed, "The one who has come must be Chen Changqing, representing the master peak Heavenly Sword Peak." The old chancellor nearby chimed in enthusiastically with a great idea. "Ruler, Chen Changqing is known as the Little Sword God, the leader of the young generation of the Xinghe sect, with immeasurable potential. Why don't we take this opportunity to build a closer relationship with him?" The ruler wholeheartedly agreed with this idea, cheerfully exclaiming, "The chancellor makes a good point. Indeed, I know what to do now." So in this wonderful misunderstanding, Yi Kong was welcomed by the entire Deyan kingdom with the most solemn ceremony. The voice of the eunuch echoed, "The monarch of Deyan and all the officials welcome the envoy, Lord." Yi Kong approached with a serious expression, quite different from his usual self, but just a moment later, he reverted to his original form, cheerfully saying, "You are the monarch of Deyan kingdom? Then have someone guide me, I will go deal with the flood dragon causing trouble right away." The monarch had other plans. He winked and enthusiastically invited, "There's no rush, no rush. The envoy has come to our land to deal with the monsters, how can I not warmly host you?" Yi Kong, still reminiscing about the materials to advance to foundation establishment in the system, politely declined, "No need, I think we should resolve the issue first." The monarch signaled with his eyes, and two beautiful women wearing veils approached, smiling as they took his arm. Yi Kong, captivated by the ladies, changed his tone, "All right, then we will deal with the flood dragon after we eat." Tian, hiding not far away, was furious seeing this scene, silently mocking, "These small vassal countries really have no shame, flattering a chi refining cultivator like this. We have to think of a way to keep up and avoid letting the master be devoured by those two court ladies." After that, the monarch held a lavish banquet to welcome him. In the middle of the courtyard was a beautiful woman dressed in bright red clothing with dazzling jewelry, dancing while gazing lovingly at Yi Kong. After the performance, the monarch eagerly looked at him and asked, "What does your excellency think of this dancing girl?" Served by two beauties, Yi Kong chewed his food and replied, "Not bad, the beautiful girl dances well." Tian, in the guise of a guard, was not satisfied with this and secretly competed in her heart, wondering what was wrong with the master's gaze. "This ordinary makeup, I could dance better than her with my eyes closed." Seeing that he was not averse, the monarch took the opportunity to play matchmaker, saying casually, "I cannot hide it from your excellency, this dancing girl is none other than the princess of Chang'an. I want to marry her off to your excellency. Would your excellency agree?" The princess cooperated by showing a shy demeanor. Yi Kong did not respond immediately but calmly took a sip of water before smirking and deliberately saying, "I have no problem, but the Xiaoyao Peak is quite sparsely populated, wouldn't the princess feel lonely going there?" The monarch seemed deaf, thinking he was joking, laughing and flattering. "Lord Envoy, you are too polite. Who doesn't know that among the 5 peaks of the Shinghe sect, Heavenly Sword Peak is the most crowded? How can you say it is sparsely populated? He didn't bother with him, rolled his eyes and smirked. I'm talking about Xiaoyao Peak, not Heavenly Sword Peak. Only then did the monarch realize his mistake, his face going blank. This news hit the monarch like a bolt from the blue, causing him to throw all royal etiquette aside and shout, Xiaoyao Peak. That's the peak where the master peak is only at the refined chi stage, even the disciples aren't there, are they? Despite hearing those disdainful words, he remained calm and said, this is not true. I am at the refined chi stage, which is correct, but I have also taken on a disciple, though temporarily, it is just one. The princess no longer pretended to be a demure lady and rushed forward, crying and demanding to cancel, Father, I don't want to marry him. Everyone knows it is better to be a little Taoist at the foot of the mountain than to enter Xiaoyao Peak of the Shinghe sect, Father. He slapped his forehead and stiffly said, I have a limited alcohol tolerance. What I said to the envoy earlier was all while I was drunk. Envoy, please do not take it to heart. Yi Kong did not pay attention to their change of heart, smiling lightly as he stood up and said, words spoken in a drunken state cannot be considered true. It's just that I have eaten well, the sovereign can arrange for someone to guide me, right? The sovereign did not dare to lose his temper with him and turned to glare at the chancellor, coldly saying, I will arrange it immediately. He was furious, blaming the chancellor, and growled, Chancellor, you go see the envoy off. The chancellor, nearly scared to death, immediately said, I obey your command. Tian looked at this scene with dissatisfaction, pursing her lips and thinking, the Dayan kingdom deserves to be punished for insulting my master like this. Once I restore my cultivation, I will destroy the Dayan kingdom to avenge my master. In ancient times, the world filled with spiritual energy gave birth to several powerful mythical beasts. They possessed the ability to move mountains and seas, to destroy the heavens and the earth, standing proudly at the pinnacle of the world. However, with the rise of the human clan, these ancient mythical beasts were hunted to near extinction. Those that remain to this day are either exceptionally powerful or possess strange abilities for self-preservation. At this moment, on a river in the Jiangnan region of the Dayan kingdom, a flood dragon was raising its head and looking around. The goofy flood dragon narrated, I am the 9-headed flood dragon, my secret to survival is pretending to be weak. That's right, I look like an ordinary flood dragon because I am hiding the other 8 heads under the water. One timid head said, as long as we don't reveal our identity, the supreme beings of the human clan won't have the time to hunt a normal flood dragon. And those lacking strength will only become our food when they arrive. Another head chuckled in agreement. The head above water seemed a bit bored and mumbled, honestly, I haven't had a cultivator to eat for quite some time. People here should invite a cultivator to deal with me. I just wonder if they will send someone of golden elixir stage or nascent soul stage. At that moment, Yi Kong had arrived at the lakeshore. He used his hands to create a screen for better viewing and exclaimed, so that's the flood dragon causing trouble. Yi Kong turned to the people of the Yen kingdom and said, sounds quite arrogant. This time, consider yourselves lucky to have invited me. If it were someone else, they would probably just end up as its delicious meal. The chancellor's mouth twitched, echoing, it is a blessing for our nation that the esteemed lord has come here. In his heart, he secretly cursed, oh my old back, ouch. A useless master peak who doesn't even know how to fly and yet asks me to ride in a carriage with him. Yi Kong waved his hand, smiling, and said, all right, prepare a boat for me. I will go deal with this hiding flood dragon. The chancellor, without being polite, pointed to the plain wooden boat and respectfully asked, Lord Envoy, the boat is ready. But are you sure that just bringing a wooden sword can kill this fierce dragon? Seeing the doubt in his eyes, Yi Kong pretended to draw his sword, raising an eyebrow in dissatisfaction. What? Do you have an opinion about my sword? The chancellor, noticing this, became fearful and hurriedly clarified, I don't dare. It's just that the scales of that flood dragon are extremely tough, impervious to blades and spears. Lord Envoy, if you use a wooden sword, don't even think about hurting it, let alone killing it. Why not switch to a real sword? Seeing his sincere concern, Yi Kong let him off the hook and looked toward the lake, confidently stating, "With the power of my sword technique, using it allows me to control the range of my attack. If I switch to a real sword, it would be disastrous." Escape from disaster. The Chancellor quietly wiped the sweat from his forehead and asked, "What will happen?" Yi Kong looked at him, confidently replied, "This body of water will likely be split in two by me. At that moment, you will have to worry about water control. Don't say this to outsiders. Even a disciple who usually covers up flaws like Tian finds it hard to endure and feels embarrassed for him. Master, if you only boast in front of me, that's one thing, but why do you come and brag in front of outsiders? You might not feel embarrassed, but I certainly do." Shortly after, she remembered some of the puzzling things she had seen, which helped her calm down, but Master often had some strange magic weapons in hand. Nevertheless, Tian remained very worried, always ready for anything. Perhaps he really is confident in dealing with this flood dragon. Anyway, let's just observe for now. If Master can't handle it, we can intervene later. A little while later, the nine-headed dragon sensed the disturbance in the water's surface and glanced over. It was overjoyed to see him and not only welcomed him but also asked with interest, "Indeed, there is a cultivator caught in my trap. Let's see if this person is at the golden elixir stage or the nascent soul stage." Cultivators at different realms emit spiritual energy of different colors, with deeper colors indicating higher cultivation. The spiritual energy surrounding Yi Kong was grayish-white, characteristic of a refined chi stage cultivator. Sensing Yi Kong's cultivation, even a ferocious beast like the nine-headed serpent feels sympathetic. Refined chi stage, thus, the boat smoothly approached it. He introduced himself, "I am Yi Kong, master of Xiaoyao Peak of Xinghe sect, tasked by the Yen Kingdom to come here and eliminate you. If you have any final words, you may speak them now." Being looked down upon by a human at the refined chi stage, the nine-headed serpent immediately flew into a rage, shouting, "Are you out of your mind? Just a refined chi stage cultivator dares to eliminate me. Do you know what I am?" Yi Kong remained unfazed, adjusting his tousled hair, and replied calmly, "Of course, you're the nine-headed serpent, an ancient mythical beast." It was stunned, frozen in fear. The nine-headed serpent no longer underestimated him, broke out in a cold sweat, and stammered, "Why you, what are you saying? I only have one head, how can I be the nine-headed serpent?" Yi Kong glanced down at the water, his expression serious and somber, and said, "You are hiding the other 8 heads under the water, disguising yourself as an ordinary flood dragon. Over the years, the cultivators you have killed must have been numerous, right?" Seeing its true identity exposed, the nine-headed serpent no longer cared about pretense. Chuckling, it arrogantly exclaimed, "I didn't expect a refined chi cultivator to have such insight. You will only be like those cultivators without manpower, just food for me." As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Kong sighed, "What a pity." The nine-headed serpent heard this and stupidly asked, "What are you regretting?" Yi Kong burst into laughter and arrogantly declared, "I initially planned to eat a roasted flood dragon leg, but since you have eaten human flesh, the meat is no longer edible. Of course, it's a pity." This statement directly infuriated it, blood rushing to its head, face grimacing. The nine-headed serpent, with no thought, roared and wanted to attack. A useless person at the chi refinement stage dares to speak such arrogant words. "I'll swallow you whole in one bite." Yi Kong firmly held his wooden sword, smiling confidently, condensing spiritual energy. Seeing the sword filled with powerful spiritual energy, the nine-headed serpent hesitated, fearing to attack. Looking at the arrogant human in front of it, it suddenly felt panic, speculating, "What's happening? Why do I feel fear toward a chi refinement cultivator? Could it be that he, like me, has hidden his true power?" At this moment, his entire body was enveloped in a thick layer of spiritual energy. The nine-headed serpent was stunned. So much spiritual energy, it can't possibly be the chi refinement stage. Next, he simply waved his wooden sword lightly, and a few strong and sharp streams of spiritual energy shot out. Star River Reincarnation Sword, Celestial Extremity. Not long after, those streams of spiritual energy spiraled towards the nine-headed serpent, looking incredibly powerful. The Prime Minister, who had not held much faith, felt a glimmer of hope upon seeing this and excitedly shouted, "This sword move is extraordinarily powerful. Could it be that everything that useless Master Peak Person said earlier is true?" The sword move crashed into the nine-headed serpent like a storm. The area it occupied transformed into a furious pillar of water like a whirlwind. However, when the move ended, the nine-headed serpent still stood there, looking unscathed and even more ferocious than usual. At that moment, the Chancellor began to panic and pull his hair, groaning internally, "Damn it, the result still didn't cut off a single scale. Now the evil serpent is enraged, he's definitely going to die." Although he was deemed a useless person, dying here, but before he could finish thinking, Tian burst out from where the guards stood. Alone with her sword, she headed toward the nine-headed serpent, angrily shouting, "Evil monsters, with me Lin Tian here, don't even think about touching a single hair of my master." Upon arrival, Tian slashed at its body several times, further enraging it, causing it to roar. But those strikes did not have any effect, only managing to tear a bit of the outer layer of skin. Seeing this situation, she couldn't help but feel more tense. The defense of this flood dragon is too high, ordinary sword chi cannot kill it. It seems I have to use that move. Tian raised the sword high, and a gigantic red sword shadow appeared at the tip of the sword, looking truly majestic.